the key to a new apartment can cost thousands of dollars, and that's when you add up the first, the last month's rent, also that security deposit, and potentially a broker's fee. Now, this year, a new ordinance goes into effect in New York City, which would help renters by changing the way that brokers are paid. Now there is a growing push to make that same change around here.
If you've ever rented
in Boston,
Somerville, or Cambridge,
you probably had to pay for a broker even if you didn't hire them.
A video on Instagram capturing the frustration of many renters in the Boston area.
got a broker's fee on top of security deposit, first month's rent, last month's rent.
It's a frustrating situation for tenants in Jamaica Plain.
The broker fees are a great joke. I mean, you know, you get what, first and last month's base, or just 1 month's worth of rent just for opening the door. I mean, just because you have the keys.
This year, New York City will change how brokers' fees are paid. Traditionally, a landlord would hire a broker to rent their unit, but the tenant would get stuck paying that fee. It usually equals a month's rent.
Forcing tenants to pay for brokers hired by landlords is not the norm for most of the country.
While Boston, Cambridge, and Somerville have changes proposed on the local level, there's a push to reform the broker system statewide.
You should have full disclosure at the very onset that the landlord is trying to transfer the broker's fees cost to the tenant.
State Representative Taki Chan plans to refile a bill to strengthen consumer protections.
It affects everybody.
He says the high cost of rentals makes this issue more important than ever.
Having a hidden cost or undisclosed cost or an additional month's rent that you could not have accounted in your budget really does impact your life.
The traditional role of a broker is super important. It is to connect a renter and a landlord. A broker could be hired by either party.
Doug Quattrotri is the executive director of Mass Landlords.
So if the New York ordinance is what we think it is, which is just that a landlord can't hire the broker and make the renter pay for it, then that's fine. I'm worried that in Massachusetts, people are going to go completely to the wrong end of the spectrum and say the landlord has to pay for the renter's broker.
He believes renters are already protected by an existing state law.
General Law 186-15B is the law restricting landlords on what we can require a renter to pay. That's a good law, and it says you can't require a renter to pay a broker's fee. You can't require an application fee, a credit check fee.
Still, as the cost of getting the keys to a unit often hits 5 figures these days, renters want any relief they can get. One more time.
It would go a long way for some people in just making housing more accessible, and I'd be in favor of that being introduced in Boston.
It would definitely be a good idea. Any small amount is helpful to someone who is looking to rent.
Well, the Mass Landlord Association says that brokers also play an important role, making sure that fair housing laws are followed. As for the legislative push on Beacon Hill, Representative Chan tells us that this will be the 4th time that he's actually filed that bill. He's encouraged that this time because the public is becoming more aware of